She will play the piano now? Oh, for fuck's sake. Jeez. I may censor that. Just in case. Because I did it with Kyo's adventure as well, and it wouldn't be fair if I wouldn't do it now. And with that, Belle gets to her feet and begins to peer inside the piano, at its exposed innards as it were. I wonder if the piano were a living, breathing creature, whether it would find this monthly tuning exercise of being opened up and invaded by unfamiliar fingers deeply embarrassing. What on earth am I thinking? This must be because of Belle. Yeah, I can't think right now either. I should stop this, I need to stop. But that's easier said than done. Especially given Belle is leaning over the piano, her short skirt displaying a generous, some might say over-generous amount of her behind. At least now we know her tail is not a butt plug. When she shifts, pressing her pale fingers against the strings, I see her underwear in stark detail. Is she doing this on purpose? I never knew tuning a piano could be so interesting. I used to find the job incredibly dull. Yeah, thank you for moving the screen so I have to move my sensor too, game. The subtle bulge of her thighs, constrained by her socks, looks even more appealing like this. It's almost as though she's inviting wandering fingers. Yeah, it's called a zone in jargon, you know. Maybe she is. It can be no coincidence that she keeps turning over her shoulder to shoot me glances blinking from beneath her long smoky lashes. I take a step backwards. Why am I still looking? I should stop looking. She's only tuning a piano, for Christ's sake. You couldn't make a decent porno out of that, could you? You could at least try. But Belle's trying. She's trying her best and it's goddamn working to... Fuck. I need to say something. The atmosphere is becoming unbearable. Not even the sound of the kids playing outside, the little monsters all of them, can alleviate the pounding in my head. The twitching of my fingertips. Nice. So, you know how to tune a piano too? Of course, I'm a spirit of many talents. And where did you pick that one up? Well, who knows? It's a secret. Like your age? Indeed, a lady never tells. For all you know, I could have been Marie Antoinette in a past life, eating cake and drinking tea. Getting beheaded. Whilst the rest of France slowly starved to death, right? But of course, I've always been selfish ever since I was born. When I find something I like, I detest the thought of sharing it with anyone. Yeah, Belle looks at me, her eyes narrowed. Her eyes seem harsher under the sunlight somehow, more menacing than they were last night. I swallow. I'm not so dense that I can't realize that was a threat. I'd better not bring Belle back home to meet Sally and Melly, then. Not that I was planning on it. Can you imagine how awkward that would be? Hey there, Sally Melly. I want to introduce you to somebody very, very special. This is Belle, my grand-aunt Clarice's cat, whom I attempted to save from drowning when I was only 6, and has now returned to thank me for the favor with her body. Please don't be too alarmed. Like that would go down well. Sally's eyes would probably widen so much they'd roll right out of her head. And as for Melly, I'm not sure how Melly would react. I never am these days. She's 5 fucking years old. I could only hope she wouldn't understand the favor with her body thing. But given the parenting Robin has done so far, I'm not sure. I shake my head. This is a waste of time. Forget it. It's not going to happen anyway. And I have to censor it again. Thank you. You were never Marie Antoinette. I doubt the Queen of France would ever have to tune her own piano. Indeed, I never did. Not when I was Marie Antoinette, at least. You should thank me for degrading myself in such a manner for your sake, Robin. God, it gets so weird seeing your own name in these games. I glance back at her legs, her thighs, and her underwear. I think you're degrading yourself in a number of other ways. It's meant to be a skirt, not a belt. And now you sound like a concerned father. That's because I am a father. I'd never let Melly go out dressed like this. You say that, but I wonder. Parents don't know their children as well as they'd like to think. You're not all that close to Melody, are you? Oh, I blink. I was just playing around, I think, but Belle's words have stopped me, frozen in place like a figure in a photograph. What does she know about Melody? Alright, there we go, all done. Well, thank you. You made this more pleasurable than I'm used to. With that exclamation, Belle sets down the wooden piano cover, once again hiding that delicate assembly of strings within. I raise an eyebrow. That was awfully fast. Oh, are you doubting the quality of my handiwork, my good sir? I, who was once the crowned queen of France? I must admit, I am a little dubious. If you really can tune a piano as fast as you claim you can, I'll be out of a job. Well, tuning a piano isn't everything you do, is it? You still have to teach. Well, that's just how it goes in the cutthroat world of work. They always want newer people, younger people, people with bright eyes and fast fingers who work harder for less pay and don't truly understand their rights. I sigh. Belle's right. I've noticed an alarming trend lately, which has been sweeping through the school these past few years. A number of the teachers, good teachers, men and women I was on friendly small talk terms with, are being laid off. First, it was Mrs. Long, then Mr. Garland, then Mr. Potts. It can't be any coincidence that these men and women were all in their mid-50s or even older. The people hired to replace them, meanwhile, were so young they could only have been a few years older than Melly, fresh from finishing their PGCEs. It's a wonder the kids listen to them at all. They're not much more than kids themselves. This school doesn't feel like a school to me, not anymore. It's more like a nursery. I go into the staff room to escape being pawed and mauled by children, not confronted with even more of them. I have no doubts, in a handful of years, I'll be laid off too, replaced with some trendy young boy or girl who insists upon being called by their first name and likes listening to, oh, I don't know, Skrillex, and can't even read sheet music. Ugh. You have a point, but I'd rather not talk about it. It's depressing. I see. The looming prospect of unemployment is always a toughie, huh? Especially when you have a wife and a daughter. They don't make things easy, do they? It's no wonder you resent them, especially when you're trying so hard, but they never seem to realize. I wince, my head pounds. Man, she's dishing out the mad truth there, you know? Cold as well. She's right again. It's almost as though she can see right through me, peering inside the recesses of my skull and pulling on all the different wires within. I'm suddenly struck by a frightening thought. What if she knows me even better than I know myself? That's just humans for you though, huh? Ungrateful through and through. You get too old and you get tossed aside like a ratty cardigan. Sure, they'll hand out the usual platitudes. I'm so sorry to let you go. You were an invaluable asset to our team, but they don't mean it. It means nothing, especially if they hang you out to dry like that. People always say things they don't mean. It's just manners, and manners don't cost a penny. I can't stand niceness for the sake of niceness. It's so tawdry. Or tawdry? Again, I don't know this word. This game is teaching me something. I'll have to look up all these words later. I feel my fingers clenching into fists at my sides. I'm trembling. I wish I wasn't. Maybe Belle can sense my fear. Jeez. I already said I don't want to talk about it. Belle exhales, running a hand through her short hair. Suit yourself, I guess. Being a queen in a past life, I can't understand your petty pedestrian worries. They're unsuited to a noble figure such as I. Now, would a noble figure really wear a skirt that short? People would faint if they saw so much as an exposed ankle back in the heyday of Madame Antoinette. And that's precisely why I want to dress like this. Experimenting with new fashion trends is exciting. A schoolgirl uniform is hardly a fashion trend. I pause, pondering. And Marie Antoinette was also redundant, wasn't she? In the worst way possible. Indeed, but I was dignified to the last. I did not scream or cry, not even when my head was on the chopping block. That would have been far too unladylike. Well, color me impressed. I don't think I would be able to handle being executed with such good sportsmanship. It takes practice, years of training. Don't worry, Robin. I'm sure you'll get there. I'd rather not if it's all the same to you. I quite like my head being attached to my neck. I quite like your head too. You're cute. I'm not sure about that. Jeez. Again with the awkwardness, Robin. We exchange brief glances, and then we both start to laugh. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because this situation is so ridiculous. The two of us hold up inside the music classroom like fugitives, hiding from the rest of the world. Right now, I could almost believe Belle is my whole world. Almost, if it weren't for the sound of the children playing outside of this. Fucking children. So Robin, aren't you curious? Do you want to see what a good job I did? About the piano, you mean? That's right. Why don't we play together? That might be nice. It's been a while since I played with anybody else. Even though you teach piano? Even so, mostly I just sit and listen to my students. I don't get a chance to play very much myself. Didn't you ever try to teach melody? I did for a brief amount of time, but Melly didn't like it. She wasn't built for it. You mean she has stubby little fingers? She wasn't physically unsuited, it was more mentally, I suppose. She didn't have the knack, no staying power. Man, I'm the fucking same. I did it as a child and I couldn't push through. I stopped. It's sad, I really did want Melody to learn how to play the piano. It wasn't just some passing whim, it was my dream. Maybe it was because of grandfather. He was the one who taught me how to play the piano all those years ago, back when I was 5. He was a patient tutor who offered me words of encouragement, and at the end of each lesson, he'd give me a fruit gum as a reward. I never saw playing the piano as a burden, though I'm sure lots of children made to learn instruments do. It was fun. I thought it was. I looked forward to every single lesson, and I especially enjoyed it when grandfather would play alongside me. I thought those duets we played together were beautiful. We played together were beautiful, I guess. They were a way for the two of us to communicate on a level deeper than words. Did your grandfather diddle you, Robin? I guess that's why I wanted to teach music. Like most people who experienced something unforgettable in their youth, I wanted nothing more than share my feeling with others. Again, I ask you, did he diddle you? Is this why you're hallucinating a young girl? I wanted to share it with my daughter, with Melody, my Melody, but it didn't work out like that. I don't have grandfather's patience, and Melly had no desire to learn. She hated the piano and would always complain when it was time for her lessons. Not like Belle. Yeah, she's all about that. Belle sits on the edge of the stool, leaving enough space for me to join her, with an expectant look on her face. Wait, she doesn't want to sit on your lap? Ah, you fucked up already. She wants me to play with her. Somebody actually wants me to play with them. Now, when was the last time that happened? I haven't felt wanted like this for years. Alright then, let's see what you can do. I roll up my sleeves, an unabashed smile tugging at my lips. It's the kind of smile that's impossible to suppress, just like laughter that threatens to erupt at inopportune moments. I take a seat by Belle on the stool, facing the scratched old Steinway. The stool is small and I can feel Belle's side pressed against mine. For all her talk about being a spirit, her body is warm and inviting, reassuringly human. What do you want to play? I like Debussy, La Petite Suite is one of my favorites. You do know that song, right? Of course I know it. I've been playing the piano for more than 30 years. Please have some faith in me. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you were such an old man. Not as old as you. Ooh. Touché. You primary school teachers nowadays, you have such sharp tongues. I suppose that's to make up for the fact you can't legally hit anyone, right? Whoa, what? As if I'd want to hit anyone. I'm not violent. What a shame. I like a man who can take charge. Ooh, I guess she hits all the right spots for him. Speaking of taking charge, are you sure you'll be able to keep up? You were a cat for an awfully long time. I know, but cats are very graceful creatures. I was a virtuoso even in my feline form. I have a vague memory of Belle clambering over the piano at great Aunt Clarice's home, her paws pressing against the black and white keys in a cacophony of noise. I laugh. Well, maybe you have a point. You look a lot cuter when you smile like that. You don't smile nearly enough, Robin. I haven't had much to smile about recently. To tell you the truth, it feels a bit strange. Maybe I fractured the muscles around my mouth. Well, I'm sorry if smiling is painful for you, but I won't let you off the hook. Not now we've begun. I'm going to make you smile much, much more. Teehee. Oh, you will you? When she says it like that, it sounds like a challenge. And I don't like backing down from challenges. So, are we playing now or what? Hehe. Belle giggles coyly as the last note fades into silence, pausing to brush a strand of hair behind her ear. La Petite Suite should be a tad longer than our abridged version, but we don't have enough time. Lunch break will be ending soon, and then my classroom will be assailed by children again, with their sticky fingers and gaping mouths. For a few moments, I almost managed to believe Belle and I were the only ones left on the planet. For a few moments, that's truly what I wanted. But we all have to return back to reality someday. I think, between you and I, we made a right mess of that. Well, it's been a while since I played anything that complicated. And it's been a while since I had fingers. I apologize for being clumsy. It's fine, even if you were clumsy. It was very passionate. Fuck me, was this whole piano thing a metaphor for her and him getting it on? Because I could live with that. Yeah, I'd be about that. Thank you. I'm always passionate in everything that I do. I can't understand humans who aren't, who drift through life like jellyfish, pale and grey, even though their lives are so much shorter than mine. Like Debussy. Yeah, like Debussy. I'm not sure if I pronounce his name correctly. I think it's French or something. I think it might be good that he's dead though. He'd be very upset that we butchered his song. Belle smiles, coiling a strand of dark hair around one finger. Well, I would love to stay and chat, but I should probably be going now. I glance at Belle's impractical school uniform, a small smile on my face. I take it you have classes you need to attend? Of course, I'd love to hang around with my favorite teacher a little longer, but this girl is on a tight schedule. Playing the piano really wore me out. I did? All you had to do was move your fingers. Okay, this definitely is like a euphemism for what happened, right? I am aware, but I'm still not used to maintaining this form. I think I need a nap. You're sleepy at lunchtime? You really are like a cat. I was a cat until a few days ago. Now, this cute kitty needs to recharge. Chew! I think I'm a little more prepared for her outward shows of affection today. She leans forward on the stool, not that she needs to, given how close we are already, and presses a kiss against the tip of my nose, as light as a falling feather. But I still feel my face turning red. Because I'm fucking awkward and shy. What is this anyway? I'm starting to feel like the schoolgirl here, and I'm not even in the appropriate outfit, thank God. Ah, Robin. What to do with you? Belle gets to her feet and smiles, giving me a coquettish wave. Bye, Mr. Hawkins. I'll see you again soon. Do you really have to leave through the window? It might look a little suspicious. Don't worry, nobody noticed me coming in here, so I'm sure nobody will notice me leaving. You're awfully confident. Of course I'm confident. I was royalty in my last life, remember? Of course. And, quicker than blinking, Belle slips through the window. I watch as she walks away, her dark hair fluttering around her shoulders. She disappears in less than a minute, as though she were never there at all. Nice. What time do you call this? That's the first thing Sally says when I return home. Not, hello, how was your day? Or, you look tired, why don't you sit down? But, so, what time do you call this? Though it's phrased as a question, I have enough sense to realize Sally means it in a strictly rhetorical sense. She knows what time it is already. It says so on the clock on the kitchen wall as plain as day. 6. Give or take, given that clock is a few minutes fast. It isn't a curious inquiry, it's an outright accusation. Look, I'm sorry, Sal. I know it's a little later than usual, but I couldn't help it. I had a staff meeting. A staff meeting? That's right, I told you about it this morning, didn't I? Not that I recall, no. Are you sure I didn't? I could have sworn I did. It doesn't matter how much you swear. That doesn't change the fact that this meeting slipped your mind. Now, why is Sally making those little worm-shaped quotation marks with her fingers? I really was in a staff meeting. I didn't enjoy it one bit. and it was incredibly tedious, but that's what happened. Well, sounds just like me playing Silence of the Sleep. Oh god, I can't let go of that game. What does she think I was doing? Does she really have that little faith in me? This is like the Great Milk Inquisition of last night all over again, and I'm in no hurry for a reprise of that. I'm sorry, Sully, I must have forgotten. I've been to so many of these damn meetings these last few weeks, it's hard to keep track of it all. And is that why you didn't look at your voicemail? Because you've been so damn busy? Voicemail? What are you talking about? I'm talking about Melly, Robin. She was sent home from school early today. I had to go and pick her up. What happened? Other than that, you're at home anyway, so I'm sorry, I teach. Huh? Wait, what? I thought Sally was just complaining for the sake of complaining, as she is so won't... What? As she is so wont to doing nowadays. Is this another word I don't know? I'm not sure. I didn't expect there to be a real valid point of criticism concealed among her words. Jeez, I must sound like such a hypocrite. There I was, complaining that Sally doesn't trust me, when I don't trust her either. My parents argued a lot too. Maybe that's why I learned all these tricks from. The bickering, the suspicion, the paranoia, the dislike. That's right, Melly hurt herself, Robin. She was acting distracted all day and kept falling asleep in class. Is this just my fault now? Insomnia. That's what Melly has apparently. Then, in the middle of PE, she tripped and sprained her leg. She could barely walk. She had to go home. And a sprained leg too. Not to mention social anxiety, depression, and daily medication. But why don't we try to tackle this one hurdle at a time? That's what Joan Fowler, Melly's psychiatrist, though according to Joan she isn't a psychiatrist, she's a child welfare expert, says. How can you fuck up so bad that your 5-year-old daughter has social anxiety, depression and needs to take daily medication? This is mind-blowing. I'm sorry I didn't check my voicemail then, I didn't think. No, you never do you? Well, mobile phones are banned at our school for the students. I mean, ever since Dylan Price pinched Phoebe Walker's iPhone, not that children even need iPhones anyway. What are they, 7, 8? And what does that have to do with Melly? I just meant since the children aren't allowed to have phones at school, it would set a pretty poor example if I had mine turned all day. That may be the case, but you could have checked it when classes ended. And otherwise, you know, you're a fucking teacher, you can do whatever the fuck you want, you're an adult. I know, I really am sorry, Sally. It totally slipped my mind. So, how is Melly? When did she have PE? You don't know your daughter's own timetable? Fuck, sorry, I have to think of my own. I hardly know my own timetable, Sally. I had a shock of my life just this afternoon when, instead of class 2 year 6, I had class 3 year 1. God, shock horror. Oh man. I don't know why I even bothered to tune the piano since those year 1 students can't carry a tune in a bucket. So you broke out the maracas again, did you? Against my better judgment, yes. Give them things that make lots of noise and they'll be happy. A small smile quirks the corners of Sally's lips. It flickers there, uncertain like a guttering flame. Aw, she should smile more. Man, they should joke a lot more together, you know? I think she's still annoyed at me, but the mental image she must have of me being overrun by screaming 5-year-olds is so entertaining, she can't quite stop herself from smiling. Okay, so she's not smiling because of something funny, but smiling because of my misfortune? That's fucked up. Well, a small smile is better than no smile, I suppose. Melly had PE in the afternoon. It was the second to last lesson of the day. So she hasn't been back home for long? Not too long. She spent most of the time upstairs in her room. I think she's resting. You don't think Melly's sprained leg is anything life-threatening, do you? I'm sure she'll be fine come the morning. She hasn't broken any bones. The school nurse said it was fatigue. Fatigue, I wonder what she's been doing to tire herself out so much. It's not like she ever leaves her room. Maybe homework? She's always been so anxious about her grades. She shouldn't worry so much. She's far smarter than I was when I was a kid. You should tell her that more often. It's probably because you don't praise her enough that she has such low self-esteem, especially given those disastrous piano lessons. Were they really that bad? You made her cry. I might have done, but that was years and years ago. She's probably forgotten by now. I think you're underestimating just how delicate Melly is. Maybe. I stretch. I feel slightly more at ease now I know my Melly isn't in any life-threatening danger. How could a sprained leg be life-threatening? Let's be real. It was just a sprained leg, not even a broken bone. A broken bone, also, 99% of the time, not life-threatening at all, isn't it? Do you think I should go and talk to her? Ask her if she's alright? I don't know if Melly's in the mood to talk to you right now. She's stressed enough as it is. You know, if you even have to ask, and if you get an answer like that, there's something seriously wrong going on, because you should just go up there and ask her. Show her that you care, not this. This won't help. So first you tell me I should pay more attention to my daughter, and now you say I should pay less? A man can't do both things at once, silly Sally. I know, it's complicated. You're making it more complicated than it needs to be. I just want to talk to my daughter, not find a cure for cancer. Sally sighs. I just think, if you really cared about Maddie, you would have come back home earlier. It might seem a tad insincere. This again? I already told you, Sal. I was in a meeting. I can't do anything about that. I know that, Robin, but Melly might not. You've never bothered to explain it to her. I pause, my mouth hanging open, my self-righteous indignation cut short. Sally might have a point. Given how rarely I speak to Melly, it's entirely probable that I never explained my circumstances to her before. Maybe, this whole time, Melly was lying upstairs in her room, curled up in her bed, wondering where I was, thinking I didn't come because I didn't care, because I don't like her. But that isn't true. Well, now let's think logically about this. Do you think not going up there because you feel bad will help her to think something else? Will make her think that you do care? No, it's you going up there now that will change her mind. At least I don't think it is. I can't deny that I find Melly hard work, but I do love her. She's my daughter. I know I haven't been as forthright with Melly as I should be, but I don't know where to begin. I don't want to worry her. She doesn't need to know how busy I have been at work, or that the headmistress keeps firing staff left, right and center. I know how you feel, Robin, but Melly isn't a child. I'm confused here. How old is my fucking daughter? He was talking about her being 5 years old. Was that maybe him remembering the 5-year-old Melly? Because it didn't seem clear. And now this also... Melly isn't a child. You should try to be more honest with her. But what good does honesty do? It just upsets people. Ooh, big red flag. Big red flag. Ew, ew, ew. But hiding things and playing mind games hurts far more. And sprained legs too, I take it. It did look rather swollen. Did you put ice on it? A pack of frozen peas. I think it's gone down now. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's good. I stand in the corner of the kitchen, running my options through my mind like paper through a printer. Naturally, also like paper through a printer, my thoughts keep getting jammed, and I have to pause to manually reload them again and again. Right, I think I'll see Melly later after she's had a chance to rest up. Wrong decision. Seriously wrong. Give her a couple of hours. Yeah, make her think that you didn't come home all day. That's just swell. I think I need some time to prepare myself. How much of a beta do you need to be that you can't talk to your daughter just like that? You need to prepare yourself to spend time with your daughter? Sure, all guys get anxious when they have to talk to pretty girls. Fuck me. Oh, you. Sally rolls her eyes, but at least she doesn't look annoyed. I forgot you were such a charmer. I laugh. I guess it's easy to forget. Marriage has domesticated me. A pause. You do think our marriage was a good thing, don't you? Ooh. Oh wait, is she talking now or is there a backlog? Yeah. Oh, I asked this. You do think our marriage was a good thing, don't you? Okay, let's hide the mouse again. Of course, I wouldn't have agreed to it otherwise. We're just going through a rough patch, that's all. All couples have them. I wouldn't call it a rough patch. Oh, Sally. I sigh, suddenly overcome with emotion. Sally sounds like her old self again. Sally Pelly, when I was tugging at that ponytail she always tried to tie her hair back in. Or Silly Sally, when she said something ridiculous and I wanted to make her blush. She said we're going through a rough patch. She has no idea. Things might be rather more complicated than her cautious optimism leads her to believe.